On. All righty. I think we're back in this thing.
Yeah, we are.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How about you? How you doing?
Doing well, holding up. Trying to take it one day at a time, as we said.
Hmm.
Also trying to ride all the highs and try to stay away from the lows as much as possible.
Yeah. Sadly there are a little bit too many lows these days, but trying to
Yeah,
stay with the highs is a good idea.
for sure. Well, one of the highs is always getting a chance to talk with you,
Oh yeah.
be
Yes,
in
I got you.
conversation. A great way to just collect our thoughts, things that we've been reflecting on throughout the week. And I'm just happy to share some time and space with you today, man.
Right on. That's great. I find myself looking forward to this. Earlier today, I got a text from a friend saying, "Yo, I'm about to do some painting. I'm going to catch up on their episodes." I was like,
Oh,
"That's great. That's
no,
great."
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad. It feels good. It feels like we are doing our part to add to, I guess, the regularity or to add to the joy, hopefully, in people's lives.
Yeah.
So
Bring some
hopefully
normal.
this is that. Yeah, normalcy. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, I see you rocking something. I don't know what it is. You gotta let me know what that is, man. What's that?
Someplace you need to go.
Okay.
This is the Negro Southern League Museum. It's in Birmingham, Alabama. It just opened up. I think they would have just had a big celebration probably last fall,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a museum dedicated to. Actually, excuse me, forget from. It's been there for a while. It just got revamped
Got you.
and redone, and had a big new opening ceremony last fall. So it's been there for a little while. It's great. It's Birmingham is a beautiful town with lots and tons of history. And the museum is actually just blocks away from where 16th Street Baptist Church is, where Kellyngram Park with the kids spraying with the hoses. All of that is all
Mm.
in a little area. And it's a museum dedicated to the history of Negro baseball players.
Okay.
It's
All right.
fantastic.
Definitely need to go.
You do, and there's a really great stadium that's also in town that is worth, maybe not in town, but on that tour that I do, we visited one stadium where what they played. They saw some of the original signs up. It's really, I'm not that big of a sports historian or knowledge based person, but when I
Mhm.
went in there, you can feel it.
Okay.
Feel it. They have some of the original gloves. They
Ooh.
have they have Jackie Robinson's baseball bat. Babe's Roots like suit. Like it's special. The people who run it they just care about baseball. They love
Okay. Yeah.
it.
Well, that sounds like a place I definitely need to take a look. 'Cause it was one of the things I want to do is like take a tour of America, but through the lens of barbecue,
Oh,
bourbon,
I
and
got
like
you.
history. Like
I got you.
I would like, my goodness, I'll take an RV. I'll walk. I will walk. Like, let's make it
After
happen.
having the barbecue, you will need to walk. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I know about it. The barbecue, woo, woo.
All right. Well, we have to make that happen. We're gonna have to make
Yes,
that happen for
yes,
sure. Sure. I'm over here. I got
yeah.
Team Savage. If you can see that,
Nice. Yes, I do.
Team, Team Savage. So it's my boy Nasheed, right? He has his own clothing line. It's called Team Savage Apparel. He can be found on at Team Savage Apparel at Instagram and other platforms. It's my dude from high school, from Trenton. Got his own shop with his partner out there.
Great.
Black-owned business. Just really doing great things for the community. It really is. And it was his birthday this past, I think Thursday. This past Thursday was his birthday. Um,
Mary.
yeah. So, it was good. We had a little Zoom reunion, so to speak, for his birthday,
Nice.
a little Zoom party. So it was cool. So I want to put this on the map real quick.
It's
Because
so fitting that somebody that's in Aries would name their company Team Savage. I love it. I love it. It fits right into the Aries mind, just driving force, leader in charge, confident. They Aries, and I get a little nuts with my zodiac stuff.
no, please.
Aries have so much faith and confidence in themselves it scares them.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
an
So,
Aries.
oh yeah. So all the Aries in my life. So my sister's in Aries. My grandfather was in Aries.
Okay.
When she, like I said, is an Aries. And it's funny that you picked up on that because his whole brand, right, was really about all the times and struggles and trials and tribulations and how we had to make it through, right? Those savage environments, etc. But now he's like, it's really about loyalty. It's really about focus. It's really about doing it for the community by any means. It's making sure you get that brand out there, but also making sure you're a pillar of your community. So the fact that you picked up on that, that's strong brand.
I love it. Yeah, totally. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nice.
Well, that's great. Well, I believe we should toast, right? You have anything you want to toast to, or?
Yeah. Today, while we're recording, it is April 19th, and that is the anniversary of the birth of my grandmother, Miss Juanita Marcus.
Okay.
She's a woman who I don't know much. You know the history. I got to open up. I got a brand new.
Hey now.
I had to go old school and like do some little sort of traditional.
Okay, I'm still with the bonded for right now.
Hey, I'm not mad.
And then, over here in the Commonwealth, you're not really sharing the wealth.
I know.
I'm figuring it out.
That's so ridiculous. That's no good.
I have to figure it out, man. It's all good, though. It's all good. As long as you got some brown around, I'm down.
Exactly. Bullet, baby.
Love Bullet. So let's toast.
Yes, to my grandma, Juanita Marcus. She would have been 101 years old today, born 1919.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's funny. She was a real regal woman, and my mind goes to wondering what she would think of me toasting her with bourbon. Juanita Marcus didn't play.
I hear that.
Oh my gosh.
I hear that. Well, 101. Well, toast for sure. I was reflecting over our past conversations. I can't front. I go back and watch them from time to time because I love the conversation. And every time I go back, I look at some of our conversations to see a little bit more nuance. Or because when we're just in conversation, I think the benefit of recording it is you can go back and see exactly what you might have missed or what you didn't really catch because we're in the moment.
Right.
But as I was reflecting on some of those things, I was reminded of a book. So remember, I referenced my Black Power bookshelf. And shout out to my boy Josh, the creative maestro himself. He gave my wife a book for her birthday. She's in her third year in medical school. And the conversations we were having about, the institutional inequities, particularly in the medical field, reminded me of a book that she started to read that he gave her. And I just want to share that before we get into our conversation so I don't forget.
Please.
It's called Medical Apartheid.
Wow.
The Medical Apartheid. It's by Harriet A. Washington, and it says the dark history of medical experimentation on Black Americans from colonial times to the present. So I just wanted to share that because I forgot. He gave her like 3 different books, and all of them are heavy, 2 of which are by Harriet A. Washington. But that one came to mind. It was on our nightstand in our room. And I'm like, I got to go bring this down and show André and let folks know about this book. Yeah.
Yes. Before my civil rights trips, I offer a reading list. And that sounds like something to really be added to it because that talks about the history, I imagine. Thank you for that.
Of course.
I always love new books. Bring it on.
Of course.
Love
So, pick your poison, right? So we got a little brown, so we should be good. Pick your poison. Do you want to start with for the culture type stuff in the sense of like a real barbershop debate? Do you want to get into something that's a little bit deep, or do you want to get into something that's like a current event topic? Pick your poison, brother.
Well, you dropped a little seed in my heart, and it's been staying when we're talking about rat beef.
Okay. Okay.
Like I want to dig into that. I'll start out by saying I'm sure as deeply informed as you were because I've seen you go and flow and drop the names and dates. And I'm like, oh yeah, that song that went, and I can hum it, but you got the knowledge, so I'm gonna follow. But
okay.
I'm trying to part the best I can.
Okay. Well, it's funny, so were you able to see the debacle of Babyface versus Teddy Riley? Did you? Oh,
that's one of my questions for you.
Okay, so I won't get into that really yet. What I want to say though, because I want you to ask that question, but what I want to say about that is, when you have a culture, who's ready? Like,
oh my God,
ready. Folks getting dressed up to the nines, etc., and they at home, right?
Exactly.
But they were ready,
right.
For a letdown, right? However, it reminds me of the DJs who have been putting on for the community during this time. So you think about a DJ, DJ D Nice, right? You think about D Nice and how he pretty much saved the day yesterday. He had a set that was pretty much doing the own battle himself, which was dope. So I'm thinking about all these DJs and how they go back and forth and they're battling. And I was thinking about the stuff that I told you last time about the English class I popped into, talk about battles of Black intelligentsia, give them some examples of how, we've always come from a history of challenge and critique because iron sharpens iron and we want to make sure that each other are better. Right. So I was thinking about all the rap battles. I shared some with the students, and it kind of does break my heart because they really don't know. No. They really don't. A lot really don't know. I mean, the one that they might know the most is, because we're in Philadelphia, where I am, Meek Mill and Drake. Of course, they might know that one. And then by some extent, they might know Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma, right? However, I don't know if they knew about some of the biggest ones ever, like Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac. Yeah. Like Nas and Jay-Z. I don't know if they know about those, but I'll tell you one thing. I remember growing up, right? Growing up, I might have been in middle school when the Ether joint dropped. And I think between the Jay-Z battle and Nas, right? Jay-Z and Nas. Oh my God. I think my opinion should really hold lots of weight because it's unbiased, right? I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm not from Queens. I'm from Harlem. So I think I could be objective here. I think it could be objective. I don't really bang with Brooklyn. I don't really bang with Queens. I never really went to Queens except it was like $2 Tuesdays for movies. Brooklyn, I wouldn't go to Brooklyn unless I had a sponsor. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, I think I can be a little bit unbiased, very objective opinion. I think Nas completely won, like, the battle between Jay-Z and Nas, so much so that I was so upset when they joined forces. And I know I shouldn't be upset when two Black men get together to work on the same team. But I was so upset. I'm like, you destroyed this man, and now you want to come back and be with him? Nah, Chief, I can't do that. But Ether, hands down, for me, goes down as the best diss track ever.
What you have in that, I mean, and this leads to a question I'll come to a little bit later on when it comes to the beef game. No, let's have the game.
Okay.
Come Get Me, Take Over, Ether, Blueprint, Made You Look, bang, 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 like hits. Like hits. Like you hear, you're like, for folks who don't even know that it's a battle, it's like, yo, that was dope, And I think that makes me start to think about these issues. And, in terms of that, I can't debate you on that one. I'm with you on that choice because I tend to go with what I think is more intellectual versus the pop. When it comes to these battles and choices and beefs, even though when it comes to Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, I don't know which falls into each category. I mean, Cardi B threw that shoe like Mama Clark back in the day. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I mean, I don't support and advocate violence, but that was beautiful. I was sitting here and I was like, that's like if you think about our culture and the moments, did you see that Clark Sisters show by any chance?
Oh, my sister-in-law was just talking to my wife about it. We ain't get a chance to see it yet.
Oh, you gotta.
Okay.
There's a scene, Mama Clark, who was fierce. Now, my mother sang with James Cleveland and all this, so I met the Clark Sisters. I was always as a little boy with my sister sitting there in a 6-hour church performance of music, and it was great because it was some of the most amazing musicians ever. But Mama Clark, the mother, she had there's a scene in the show where she throws a shoe real hard at a girl who's like out of tone. And it's the same exact arm movement that you see Cardi B doing in Nicki Minaj. So history repeats itself. To steal your line, we sharpen each sharpen. I love that iron sharpens iron. I love that. But it goes on. That's a very long answer for saying I can't debate you on that. I love the Blueprint, but Ether is just ridiculous, and all the things that are wrapped up in that you hear and pick up on. It's magic that we got that gift, these gifts, I should say, through this beef. Like, it's incredible.
For sure. And I mean, just even thinking about that, like, and this is not like a particular diss track versus another diss track, but when I'm thinking about Notorious B.I.G., when I'm thinking about Tupac, right? I gotta ask you, man, who you rocking with? Death Row Records or Bad Boy Records?
Dude, come on now. You got Sunday afternoon. You're making me work like this. It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience. When it's funny when I think about that one. When I heard "Who Shot Ya,"
oh yeah,
Like right after, I was like, ooh. And then you heard Hit 'Em Up.
Oh my,
Like,
oh.
ooh.
Talk about the epitome of disrespectful. Like the first few words out your mouth.
completely. And it was so incredible and so amazing. And I'll give it up to Cardi B. Cardi B is the one who says it. Like, she was like, I had no beef with that woman. I don't even know her. I had no beef with her. But people like it, and it's entertainment, and that's what we're doing. So I think this people go along with the beef a little bit further. But in terms of that one, oh my gosh. Well, since Tupac got to have Jada Pinkett in high school in a relationship, you know they went to school together, right?
Yeah.
From high school in Baltimore. I don't know that one. I was trying to justify something by saying that, and it just my mind was like, that doesn't make any sense.
You're throwing points over there. There's points.
Right, trying to get points, trying to put it in the bucket. Do the pros and cons and the ways. Oh my, but gosh, I'm going to go. I'm gonna have to do it and say Biggie.
Okay.
I was in touch with much more of the lyricism, the beats and music. Maybe because it's East Coast, it felt more familiar. You know, I can't lie. Seeing Tupac and was it in Juice?
Yeah.
Yo, like I was like, this is another level. You know how he got that role?
No.
His boy was auditioning, and he was there. And the director was like, who's this? Yeah, my name is Tupac. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, could you read this? And they were like, done. This is the man. So the man had multiple gifts, but in the rap beef game, today I give it to Biggie.
Okay.
How about you?
I mean, so it's always interesting because, again, I'm from Harlem, so I got that like P Diddy connection in some ways, and then. Like I told you before, there are times when I feel like I'm a thug. You know what I mean? There are times when I feel like I'm about that life. So there's times when I might be really like Tupac-esque, but there's other times when I really just want to like be jiggy and fly, like Bad Boy, right? So growing up, I went back and forth. I'll never forget. I think the first like rap album I really listened to fully was Life After Death. And it's not because I purchased it, it's because my sister did. And I'll never forget. I got into so much trouble because I was listening to one of the songs. It was Biggie featuring Lil Kim. It was like, and I wrote the lyrics down on a piece of paper, like paper, and I was writing it down in my mother's room too. I'm like, I guess I left the paper there, but she found it.
Which one was it about? Something happening tonight?
Yeah, I think it was that one, or it was the one where it was like they were in the courtroom. It's like, what do you do when your is untrue? That one. I'm writing. Remember when you said you would die for me? Like I'm writing all this stuff down, you know what I mean? And I guess it was fine, and I got in trouble. But I heard that album over and over and over again because I guess my sister thought she was a thug too, right? So we was all like this really embodying like Life After Death and all this whole album. So I think I have affinity there. But I always like the poetics and the theatrics of Tupac.
He's incredible.
Seeing him on a different world, seeing him just do all these Juice, like you said, numerous different roles, just like he's an artist.
What's the movie he did with Janet Jackson?
Poetic Justice.
Exactly.
Yeah, like just like, you know what I mean? So like just to see his versatility was exciting to me. So
gifted.
But the funniest thing, I think, what it boils down to was the battle of the producers too, or like the executives. The Suge Knight versus Diddy. That's hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? If you're tired of your producer all up in the videos, come to
That was amazing. That was amazing.
So, I mean, so in terms of like the music, I might have to give it to Biggie because I think I'm more New York. I'm just so much.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But man, oh man, is that something? That's one for the ages, man. Both of them.
Sure is. It's mind blowing when you think about it, and the fact that they both were killed 6 months apart. Like, come on. Heartbreak. I remember that whole year just being like, oof.
Oh yeah, that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing you mentioned that because my equivalent would be because if I was trying to like equate that to some of the other historical figures, that's almost like a Martin Luther King Jr. and a Malcolm X.
Yeah. No. I had that thought. I wasn't alive when those two went down and when these two went down. I was like, it's just our modern day version of it. They're not to be equated as human beings in their work as Malcolm X and MLK are.
Mhm.
But there is a moment of like, ooh, this is a freaky, like, historical moment that here we are decades later, and what feels a little so similar in some crazy kind of way.
Oh yeah, and it
I
reminds
get
me.
that.
It reminds me of how you were saying, you come from a line of griots, right? Storytellers. And I was sharing that with the class I was teaching. I was saying how the MCs and rappers are pretty much the griots and the storytellers of the hip hop generation. They're tastemakers, they're influencers, they're trendsetters. And then in a lot of ways, like Amadi Perry said, they're prophets of the hood, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, that's why I would equate it to, this is something that was the closest that we can get. Some folks who weren't around when MLK and Malcolm X were there, to what that might have meant for the culture, the community, the power that they had, right? Just to have people follow them and be connected with them.
Yeah. I'm just having a moment of deep gratitude for you, man. You dropping Imani Perry, my Shiro. I just put something on like Instagram about her today because I think she's so fantastic. And then it's that sharpen iron with iron line. I mean, you just said it and kept going, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was really hot, So I'm appreciating you coming and really, just sharing this knowledge. I look forward to this like all week.
Likewise, man.
The whole thing. Can I propose one?
Please.
And maybe
Please.
before your time.
Okay.
But I want to know because this is an album. I think I have a decade on you.
Yeah.
Maybe more. This is the album that I went home when I was little and I wrote down every single lyric on both. And got in trouble doing the second for different reasons. That's another story. So, U.T.F.O versus Roxanne Shanté.
Whew. I gotta give it to Roxanne. I got to. Like, first and foremost, nothing against U.T.F.O, but Roxanne Shanté, like, now I think that talk about you have to, particularly when you're in a male-dominated industry, you have to, as a female, the same way they say you have to be twice as good if you're black and all this other stuff, right?
4 times.
4 times, right? My goodness.
Yeah.
She can throw down.
Yes.
She can throw down. And what she reminds me, or what I'm getting now, is like Rhapsody's album, the stuff that she's doing reminds me of like the spirit of all the female MCs, like the real MCs, the one who spit, who have bars and punchlines and can like hop on any beat. Reminds me of that. So I would say Roxanne Shanté.
Yeah. Who she grew up with Nas. Like she grew up with Nas. She's a little girl. And Nas was like, "Who's you? Rap?" She's like, I can't. It just she has a show now on Sirius XM called Have a Nice Day.
Okay.
And she does this thing called Rhyme Time. It is the most brilliant thing in the world. It's rhyme time. And what she does, she picks headline from the news and freestyles.
Wow.
It is so good. It's always so brilliant. It made me, I'm glad that they put her on a Sirius XM. She's on LL Cool J's station, but I don't have Sirius XM everywhere. Like I got it in one little spot that I pop into.
Mm-hmm.
And always, I gotta be in the car between 4 and 7 because that's when Have a Nice Day comes on, which is so brilliant. Like that was one of her. It wasn't her bigger track, but it was a track that a line she had that she said all the time, which I thought was so powerful that's what she kind of led with. Like I'm Roxanne Shanté, and then all the spin-offs that happened when she came out, and that light-skinned woman that tried to. I mean, it's just the story is amazing, and she's still relevant, and she's still going, and she's still who she is. Like she is just like that girl from around the way that knows like every detail about everything. Yes. And it's hilarious.
I like that you said that.
Like a mofo.
I like that you said that. She is that girl from around the way. And it's like everybody knows a person like her. Everyone, it might be your sister, might be your cousin, your auntie, whatever. Right. But she is that one. And I haven't gotten a chance. Like I didn't get a chance. Did you get a chance to watch the Netflix documentary? I think Roxanne's Revenge, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's I didn't get a chance to watch it though.
Well, yeah. I recommend it. It's good. It's upsetting because she got a lot of bad stuff went down with her and to her, I should say. But it's a great story. Like it really, you'll feel it. The music. They have a great little scene in there with Nas as like a teenager and her as a little girl having a conversation. He's like, "Go ahead, rap for me, girl." and
Mm-hmm.
she kills it. Like her strength was she could just spit and improvise and go and destroy people. She'd go to clubs and destroy people back when it came out. So yeah, we're on the same page there. Roxanne, Shanté.
Okay.
U.T.F.O.
Okay, so here's one for you because we're on the same page. Now let's see this. I know this is always difficult, particularly if you say dead or alive, right? So top 10 or top 5 MCs, rappers, lyricists, whatever you want to say. Let's go with top 5. Your Mount Rushmore or top 5 MCs, rappers, lyricists of all time, dead or alive for you.
Yeah, let me dig deep. I always start with Young MC.
Okay.
I always start there because I think that what he was doing and what he came out about with and the whole genre he laid out and the way he came, was hot. Oh man, I gotta put Biggie on there because Biggie was just brilliant. And coochie down to the socks, fat, ugly as ever. I was like, it's beautiful. This man was like vulnerable and real and deep and honest and complicated. And then in Tupac, that's 3, right? A Young MC, Biggie, Tupac. Always struggle because I have respect for Jay-Z, but I'm not gonna put him on the list. I'm not gonna do that. To give it to take it like down south and give it a little bit. But don't stop the show and cut me off when I say this. I was thinking like, and this is more about the pack. I'm not gonna stop apologizing. Just say it. I was gonna say André 3000, but I might. No, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna keep that. I was gonna say Ludacris.
Okay.
I'm going back on that and go with André 3000.
Listen, I am not mad at either one of those. First and foremost, to be honest with you, André 3000 is so. If you say top 5, the top 10, hands down, Andre's always on my list. Top 10.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Top 5, he makes it. I think for me, but it flips back and forth. But overslept on is Ludacris.
Yeah, Ludacris is hot.
Because you talk about words,
when I move, you move. Flow. Come on, and he understands it. I have homework for you. Have you seen the Netflix movie, The Black Godfather?
Yes, I did see it. I learned so much. My goodness.
Mind blowing.
I had no idea.
No, and to have him stepping forward saying, "You demand the money you deserve," was just what we need. So yeah, so I am okay then. So I said Young MC. I said Biggie. I said Tupac. André 3000. I just know there are a ton more that I'm like. I'll say Roxanne Shanté.
There you go.
Roxanne Shanté.
There you go. There. I respect that. And this, no one ever wins. Like when we play this game, no one ever wins. Like it's impossible because for me, it's also about the mood I'm in.
Right.
Like, who just came out with an album that's fresh in your mind.
Right.
But folks who always come to my mind, like if I had to put criteria to it, for me, it's not really about, is that a hit? Is that a song? I mean, that's a piece of it. But do the lyrics stay with me? Like, do I remember them?
Yeah.
Is the flow so dope that I know that if I try to pick up a mic, I couldn't even really get with that at all. So I'm thinking about some of the poets, the philosophers, the really cerebral cats. And that's not even including the folks who are more so underground, right? I'm not even talking about like an Immortal Technique or somebody like that. I'm talking more so like, so if I had to give you 5, which is so difficult, Black Thought is on there. Black Thought is just a god MC. So Black Thought.
Yeah.
J. Cole for sure. Everybody knows me, and that's my contemporary pick is J. Cole. Nas would be on there. I would throw André 3000 on there. I definitely would. And it's tough, man. I'm trying
I know.
Biggie is I don't, and plus what I don't want to do is be so like New York centric. Like,
yeah, exactly.
New York is not that, because like Snoop is dope.
Yeah, Snoop, forget about it. Yeah,
Snoop
right there. Brilliant.
So like, whether it's
Dr. Dre, like, come on. Come on.
like you've got people. So like, we would have to drill down into certain, like if it was like an award show, different categories. Like, you know,
Yes, yes.
you have the philosophers, you have the ones who spit fire. You got like, you just have to. Yeah, it's tough, man. No one wins, but I think those would be the ones who pop up for me.
Did you get a fifth one?
I think that's what I said. Black Thought, J. Cole, Nas, Andre 3000, Biggie would be in there. I guess I have to rock with Biggie. I mean, that's the easy, safe thing. You know, I'm not going to get no hate mail or anything. That's the easy thing to do. But you know, I mean, like I'm telling you, literally, Rhapsody, like her, like she's so dope, so dope. I haven't really gotten her body of work as much, so I want to get back at some more other stuff as opposed to what she just came out with, Rhapsody with all the like. I think is it called Eve? Can't remember. But yeah, her latest album where all the songs are named after the influential like goddesses in the game and in entertainment, etc. You know, named after Maya Angelou. One named after, you know, there's one called Afeni. Like all these songs, just dope.
Beautiful.
Just dope. So I mean, and I appreciate that too. So if you're an artist who can spit and also weave a narrative or a story or project, love that.
Yeah. And then we need to, I think it's important for us just to take it back to and give homage to the dead poets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they were doing was a whole nother, if I had to do like a fake beef and a Gil Scott Heron versus dead poets, dead poets.
I hear that.
I respect Mr. Heron, I respect Gil, but dead poets for sure. Like no question for me.
I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. And I think for me too, when you think about it, is if you were to think about like groups, if you were to think about like rap groups and even groups in general, you think about, you know, you have Mobb Deep, you have a Tribe Called Quest, you have the Wu-Tang Clan. Now you have the Wu-Tang Clan, and then you have like if you start to think about all these groups and what groups are dope, or which like Outkast, like you just
We're going for weeks. We're going for weeks this way.
My goodness, we have to at some point later on, we're probably just gonna have to have like a round table discussion, probably get some folks on here and just really go after it.
I'm ready. I love that. Let me ask this. Maybe this will wrap us up in terms of the question about beefs. You know, because my two questions. One, why is it that Eminem and Cannabis had a beef with everybody? You notice that? Which leads to my question is, are these really beefs or is this smart marketing and promotion?
You know what? I think for the folks who are like, I think it's both and. So I know there's some people who are like, no, I'm better than you and I'm going to show you. And it just so happens to be that I'm promoting my new album. And I think there might be also times where it's like, listen, this is going to be good for me and it's going to be good for you. You're not really doing too well right now. Your name needs some buzz. Let me come at you, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But what I was sharing in the English class too, I was thinking about all these things that are happening right now. And this is pretty much like, not to get too meta, right, or too existential, but you know, all these things are happening right now in a society or excuse me, in an industry that's heavily dominated by people of color, right? But when you think about the executives, you think about the people who own the labels, you think about the folks who control the money and the market manipulation, who get people locked into 360 deals and don't want them to go independent.
No 360 deals.
When you think about those things, right? I was sharing why a lot of folks were critiquing Zora Neale Hurston, like I said, and the language that she used in Their Eyes Were Watching God. I said, now that's not a critique, that's just a blind critique. I think we have to also think about the time period where folks are trying to build, so to speak, with respectability, politics, etc. But this all goes back to say that when you rely upon white society, dominant culture, hegemonic culture to underwrite your industry, then you're not as free to be an artist. So when you think about, you know, that beef between Biggie and Tupac, or the beef between Drake and Meek Mill, Nas and Jay-Z, it might be good for the culture if we in the culture understand that it's not real beef, like not coming to fisticuffs.
Right.
But if this is market manipulation, and it reminds me of the book, like I mentioned before, I think I might have mentioned it before, but Claude Anderson's book, you know, Black Labor, White Wealth. Like it reminds me of all these folks who look like us duking it out in the public sphere, and then the folks who are not of the culture are making money. making so much money.
Completely.
Which reminds me of, because in Prep School Negro, you had a clip from Dame Dash.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
oh Dame,
that's my dude. Like,
he's amazing.
Harlem to the core, and the stuff that he's doing in terms of like, if you like the stuff that he's been doing in terms of trying to be independent, in terms of trying to like expose the industry for what it is. All that's a long answer to say that I think some of them are legitimate, but the most majority of them are market driven, market manipulation, labels beefing back and forth, trying to push a product. It's really the drug game if you think about it.
Yeah,
it's a different product.
Completely. Yeah, I need to pull that footage because that interview with Dame Dash was 5 hours and it was amazing. It was amazing. Like we were in his spot, we had just bought Keds, and it was just incredible. Like I was just like, wow, this is incredible. But that's another show.
Yes.
My response to that, I hear you. I am on that fence in terms of how real is it, how serious is it, or how is it much for record sales. And I think about the moments that are irresponsible. You know, Biggie and Tupac got there a little bit, but it almost still felt a little bit like play. But the fact they both ended up dead is a reflection of like people listening took it a little more seriously. So where did it happen? But I think the modern day version of where it becomes a problem is an interesting word to use, but where it becomes difficult is like Drake and Pusha T, you know, fiancés and then babies. Like that child's gonna grow up someday and be like, Dad, you denied me for the first couple of years. Like that's an unfair victim in this circumstance.
And that's when I feel like the beef is real. Because I mean, like either real or you're going off script. So like again, not to keep bringing things back to the drug game, but like I said, you know, sometimes I think I'm on the block. But I watch enough Wire, all the other stuff. All I'm saying is there used to, like growing up, there used to be rules of engagement in the street, right? You don't touch children, you know, you don't do anything on Sunday when people come from church, those type of things, right? But now you got people really coming at people's fiancés and babies and all that. So I think that might be real. Or someone might have gotten upset for whatever reason. It's like, really, you think you dope? Because if you think about it, and you know, I don't want to, you know, I'm not a rapper, right? You know, but you talk about like a Drake, for example, and people saying, oh yeah, he doesn't write his own lyrics, he's a ghostwriter, etc. You have a person like Pusha T who's been well, pun intended, he's been grinding for a long time, right? Talk about a person like Pusha T with the clips, and my man is over here like, he's a dope MC. And he's like, yo, Drake is getting all this clout and all this stuff for what? I mean, you can argue a number of things. There's light skin privilege. There's the fact that he's not fully black. There's the fact that he is from Canada. There's the fact that he was on Degrassi. There's other pieces to it. So you have some people like, I'm coming for you. You think you're the top dog? I'm coming for you by any means. So I think that's where it can be like, okay, we're no longer playing these games. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I'm often very upset and bothered by the success some people get because of what the pop culture feels comfortable with, can digest, and likes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was in college, I was at an exchange program at Columbia University for a semester, working at SPES. That was Central Park East Secondary School. That was my junior year abroad. I came to New York City and taught at a public high school. I never do anything easy. And there was a woman who was from Ohio, and Harry Connick Jr. was blowing up. And she said this to me. We were in the dorm up in a Barnard dorm uptown. I didn't say that. That was the thing we used to say. I don't mean that. I do not live by that. It's a terrible, horrible word. And we're sitting in the dorm talking, and she goes, Harry Connick Jr. is proof that jazz is real music. And I was like, and here it was. She did not mean anything by it. She's from Rhode Island. She's from Cranston, Rhode Island. She's from my room was from Ohio. And she didn't have any malicious intent, even though it hurt me to my core. And I was like, he is? And I thought, and I didn't have the energy, power, knowledge, know-how, experience to respond how I wanted to respond and say, he's white, that's why you like him. You know, I went to that subtly, but I have found so many moments where people like talk about so-and-so being like the most incredible genius lyricist ever. And I'm like,
Mm.
No, let's go back to Young MC
Yes.
versus what is pop and hot and gets everything right now.
Yes.
Gets everything. And what is it that makes our society more, not what is it? I know what it is. Racism is real and alive, and we can't understand it to the point where we race down and run out and buy houses and talk about being comfortable and can say something like Harry Connick Jr. is the reason jazz is real music. And I think Harry Connick Jr. is great. I think he's wonderful. But I think he would even go like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, mama, like I'm sitting on the shoulder, I'm sitting at the feet and the shoulders of the ancestors that bled, sweat, died, did everything so I could be here, so you can actually buy this album. But pop culture, society, the mainstream, what sells, we can't deny it, often falls into those spaces of comfortability and relatability. People see themselves, become more empowered, and that's always gotten my goat to the point where I've ignored some MCs, some rappers because of how they look, and I think, what am I doing? Like I'm like, no, like I won't even go down the path and listen to something and check it out. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna like that, which isn't fair to them, but I'm responding to what I see in society.
Okay. No, I appreciate the perspective. So that's a lot to digest. I need to go and like listen to some more stuff and really go back and look at some of the battles again.
Yeah.
But I guess to wrap our time up together today, you know, thinking about beef, right? People always talking about beef, back and forth, rap beef, etc. You know, this has been something that has been beef in the culture for some time now. Now, question: pumpkin pie
Oh God.
or sweet potato pie?
Sweet potato. I didn't even think about it. Why would you even say pumpkin pie to me? You know, I think it's from the South. Sweet potato. No sweet potato. Pumpkin pie is fine, but sweet potato. Are you kidding me? Sweet potatoes.
100%.
You know that our people came over to this land with teas for yams in their hair, and then also you want to do some real research. Go look at how sweet potato versus yam is rooted in racism and exclusion.
Yes. Oh yes.
The fact that that's like those are two different things, and the way we talk about it and the regions and stuff. Like people can, them women, they had no pumpkin seeds in their hair coming across on the boat to get us here. They had yams and the roots with them. So sweet potatoes.
Talk about it. So I'm with you.
And it tastes better. It just tastes better.
I'm with you. Better. Sweet potato pie, I'm definitely with you. Now, the follow-up question is, do you eat it cold or do you warm it up? Do you like warm it up a little bit? Not when it's like fresh out the oven, because when it's fresh out the oven, you let it cool up. But you know.
That's the best moment. No, I'm out the fridge, like in my hand, like this. Because you warm it up, it takes a little something away from it.
I hear you. See, for me, it depends, man. Is it a snack or is it a dessert? Because if it's a snack, you know, you pop it right, it can be cold. But if it's a dessert, I want to spend a little time with it, you know? Warm it like, you know, 30 seconds real quick, spend a little time, maybe pair it with a nice beverage, hum a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you know? Exactly.
You know?
I'm with you there. It's in any form is good. There's something speaking of my grandmother, we started with her and I'll finish up by saying this. Did you ever have sweet potato bread? And I ain't talking about the bread that's on our school's emails. I'm talking about, come on. I'm talking about sweet potato bread. It was this, my grandma would make it. And this is such a reflection of the people, like having to make something out of nothing. You take yams, they call them yams and sweet potatoes, but there was no difference when I was growing up. You take sweet potatoes, you boil them, and then you smush them down, a little bit of milk, a little bit of egg, a little bit of sugar, a whole lot of butter. It makes this like flat bread that has like banana pudding consistency, but even thicker. To the point where you can only have a little corner because it's so yummy, and there's no crust. The sweet potato makes its own crust. My grandmother would make it. People would fight at the church.
Whoa, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah, because it was, and I've tried it. She taught me how to make it. I'm still learning. I tried it because it's not like sweet potato bread, zucchini bread, all that stuff. That's fine. this is something else. This has a consistency where it's like a real, it's almost like a little decadent snack. Like grandma would make a pan. It was very like, I'm hungry. Go get a little piece of potato bread. And you cut your little piece and you get full because it's so thick, you know?
Yeah. That's not like, and I'll end by saying this too. Have you ever had carrot pie or squash pie?
I think I had carrot pie.
Carrot pie, man. I was sleeping on it.
Really?
I was sleeping on carrot pie the same way I was sleeping on bean pie.
Okay, yeah, bean pie. Yeah, so was I. Bean pie is delicious.
My goodness.
It's
I'm like, okay. Every time, see, I feel bad now because every time I pass the Muslim brother in the street, I was like, nah, brother, I'm good.
Yeah,
like
same,
those pies are good.
And that is such a moment right there. I spent so many years walking like, I don't know bean pie, man. Like, come on. Like, how's a little pie you got in your hand, sit on the corner with a newspaper in one hand, pies in the other? How's that pie gonna taste to me like anything? And then I had one. I have to be honest. I had one in the past 5 years. I was like, I've been missing this.
My goodness.
Yeah,
My goodness.
They're good.
Well, if we learned anything, one, we have to study back up on our rat beef. 2, eat more bean pies.
Yes.
I mean, that's just something that we need to do. And also research, the racism around, sweet potatoes and things of that nature, how folks try to call it a certain way,
Yeah,
so we have to look into those things. It's just so much in terms of language and how people frame things and set agendas and yeah.
But the beauty is the deconstruction and the rebuild, and that's what we're about.
100%.
So I appreciate it.
100%. Well, cheers to Grandma, as well as cheers to you.
Cheers to you, man.
And it's always a pleasure, man. One last sip. Till next time. Catch you later. It's the Brown Juice Barbershop.
Hey.
Holla.